Dear student, today in this video I am going to explain about how to construct a parsing table. Before that, let me explain each step how we are going to construct a parsing table. Step 1. For each production rule form A tends to alpha. If first of alpha is not equal to epsilon, then each terminal A which is in first of alpha, make an entry into the table m of a comma a is equals to A tends to alpha. If the first of alpha contains epsilon, then for each terminal A in follow of A, make an entry m of A is equals to A tends to alpha. The third rule says that if epsilon is in first of alpha and dollar is in follow of A, then add m of A and dollar is equals to A tends to alpha. It means if the alpha is equal to epsilon and dollar is in follow of A, you have to make add of m of A comma dollar is equals to A tends to alpha. These are the rules which we are using to construct the parsing table. The next thing is, I'll give an example of how to construct a parsing table for LL of 1 grammar. Now this is the grammar which is given for constructing a parsing table for LL of 1. Now the rules are as follows: S tends to ABA, S tends to BB, B tends to epsilon. You can make a note that this grammar is LL of 1 because it doesn't have no left recursion, no left factoring. Since if you say that the grammar is LL of 1, it should be free from left recursion and left factoring. Before we construct the parsing table, we must find out first and follow. To find first and follow, let me start with first. Take each production, S tends to ABA. Now I need to find the first of S. As I explained earlier, to find first of S, I must look at the grammar rule in which left hand side of the variable should be S. So according to this, A tends to alpha. My first of A is nothing but my first of S. So first of S is equals to first of ABA. That is, the first terminal symbol of ABA is A. So my first of S becomes A. Similarly, for the second rule, first of B I am supposed to find out. So since B is on the left hand side, I say first of B is equals to first of B, that is first of alpha. Since B is a terminal symbol, I say that first of alpha is nothing but first of B. Similarly, I have one more production which is having B on the left hand side, that is B tends to epsilon, and my first of B is equals to first of epsilon, nothing but epsilon. Putting both of them, my first of B becomes B comma epsilon. So it is better to have a small table which gives you about information first and follow. Now identified first. So first of S is nothing but A. First of B is nothing but B comma epsilon. Now let us look at how to find follow of each production. By default, your follow of starting symbol, you have delta, we'll add delta. Since in any of the production we don't have S on the right hand side, my follow of S remains dollar. And the follow of B is nothing but I need to look at the production where I have B on the right hand side. So S tends to BB, S tends to ABA, that is A tends to alpha, B beta. So I'm supposed to find follow of B. In case of this, my A is equals to S, alpha is equals to B is equals to B, beta is equals to A. My follow of B is equals to first of beta minus epsilon. First of beta is nothing but first of A. First of A is nothing but A itself. That's why my follow of B remains A. And in my second production, where I have B on the right hand side, that is B tends to BB. In case of this, A tends to alpha, B, beta. My A is equals to B, alpha is equals to B, B is equals to B, beta is equals to epsilon. If beta is equals to epsilon, my rule says that follow of B is also same as follow of A. That's why follow of B is equals to follow of B. So follow of as A. So according to this, my follow of B is only A, because I need not to include the epsilon in follow of B. So after finding this, my follow table becomes like this. My follow of S is having dollar. My follow of B has got A. Fine. So now let me explain how to construct a parsing table. To construct a parsing table, consider each rule from the given grammar. The first rule says that is S tends to ABA, which is of the form A tends to alpha and alpha is not equal to epsilon. Now the rule says that if that is a rule, the rule 1 says that if first of alpha is not equal to epsilon, then for each terminal A in first of alpha, make an entry M of A comma A is equals to A tends to alpha. Now coming to this particular rule, in this case, since we have first of alpha is equals to first of ABA, first of ABA is nothing but A. So then I'm supposed to make an entry M of A comma A is equals to M of S comma A. The reason is here it's a generic rule M of A comma A, where A stands for S, small a stands for A itself. So I have to make an entry A tends to alpha. That A tends to alpha is nothing but S tends to ABA. Now the same entry I'll make it into my predictive parsing table, wherein which each column will represent the terminal symbol, whereas each my row represent the non-terminal symbols. We have now two non-terminal symbols. One is S, the other one is B, whereas my terminal symbols are A, B, and dollar. Now according to the first rule, so we found that S on A will have an entry that is S tends to ABA. Consider the second rule, that is B tends to BB, which is once again follows the same rule 1. The rule 1 says that is if the production is of type A tends to alpha and alpha is not equal to epsilon, for each terminal symbol which is in first of alpha, make an entry M of A comma A is equals to A tends to alpha. Now when I apply that rule, I found that my first of alpha is not equal to first of B beta, which is equals to B, and then I should make this entry, that is B on B, that is M of A comma A is nothing but, in case of this, my A is B and the small a is B, which is taken from the first of B. I'll make an entry M of B and B is equals to B tends to BB, which is once again in my predictive parsing table, that is B on B is equals to B tends to BB. Considering the third rule, that is B tends to epsilon, which is the second condition in my predictive parsing table. Now my predictive parsing table rule says that if the production is if my first of alpha contains epsilon, then for each terminal symbol which is in follow of A, make an entry M of A comma A is equals to A tends to alpha. Please make a note that in case of this, my small a which come from follow of A, not from first of A. Using this rule, so we found that my follow of B is nothing but A. We already identified that. So for that, I have to make an entry M of A comma A is nothing but M of B comma A is equals to B tends to epsilon. Then I make an entry that is B on A. I'll make an entry as B tends to epsilon. This is how we are going to construct the predictive parsing table. Thank you.